listening to Not on the Payroll right here at notonthepayroll.com. You can check us out at Facebook, check us out at YouTube, also on Rumble. You can check us out each and every Thursday night, 7 o'clock at KJAS 107.3 FM. Today we have the privilege of sitting down with Mr. John Hargrove of Elektrafi right here in the metropolis of Buna, Texas. And Mr. John, we really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule with your team to just kind of chat about what you guys do for the folks who don't know. If you would, give us a little bit of insight as to what Elektrafi is, what it does, how long you guys have been here, and kind of what your game plan is. So what is Elektrafi for people who don't know?
Elektrafi is an internet service provider.
Okay.
We provide fixed wireless broadband. We started operating in July of 2020 in Buna.
Okay.
And we now service Buna, Evadale, and Silsbee areas, and we're launching new towers the next 2 weeks in Kuntz, North Lumberton, Vidor, and Mauriceville.
Okay.
The idea is the internet service providers have been around for at least 30 years. Started out with dial-up and progressed as technology allowed it to. The idea for this developed originally with our CEO, Ryan Jenkins, in the mid-2000s. And the technology and timing just developed where all the people were in the right place. I had worked with Mr. Jenkins previously on several projects and had an RF engineering background, and he thought this would be a great place to do a pilot project for this. And so we started it right after the pandemic started in 2020, which was an interesting challenge, and got the original tower going and then went through a series of upgrades and 2 hurricanes. And then in 2021, we added 2 more sites and upgraded the central Buna tower. And then this year, 2022, we've expanded into 5 new areas.
5 new areas, okay. So in comparison with what is like out in the marketplace, what's kind of your, what do you guys provide to the end user?
So we provide internet broadband just like you would get from a copper facility like AT&T offers and other telephone companies, just like the cable companies do, just like the off-planet satellite systems do, HughesNet, Viasat, Exceed, etc. The difference being primarily we're local to the community, and we start up kind of organically like that. We're using the same type of technologies that other large carriers, whether it be Verizon, T-Mobile, or whoever, that are using for fixed wireless applications, which is not cell phones. It's from a tower to your house or to your business. And so we're able to deliver the phase 1 of our technology in Buna and Evadale, delivered up to 50 megabits per second throughout the coverage area. And in the new markets, we've gone to our phase 2 of technology, which is using the latest and greatest, and it offers up to 200 megabits per second service.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So if somebody's out here and they don't know whether or not they're in your region, how do they find it? What's the quickest way for them to find that out?
So if you just look around, if you go to elektrafi.com, Elektrafi.com, you can look up our service areas and see where a general depiction of the map is and whether you fall within an area. The next step would be to contact us by phone, text, or email. Tell us your address and we can map it out and see if it's a slam dunk to serve you, or if we need to come test, or if you're outside our current coverage area.
Okay. So at that point, so say they're actually in your service area, then at that point, what's kind of the next step in the process for the end user or the customer?
So we don't require any contracts. So and there's no upfront fees unless we have to do special construction of some kind. 30-day money back guarantee, no questions asked. You don't like it, we come get the equipment
You're
We
done.
part ways and that's it. There's no problems. You schedule it, and generally within 7 to 10 days, we're able to fold it into our installation schedule and get you installed and up and running.
So I remember back during the miniature satellite days where you basically, you'd have a guy come out there, he'd bring a satellite, pick a spot, cement it in and, get you all dialed in, that type of thing. Is it that involved, or is it even less involved than that?
It can be, depending on whether if you're really close into the towers, it's a lot easier. If you're further out, we may have to pick a specific spot to place it.
Okay.
And it may be on the e-boards of your house, on the peak of your house. We may have to put a pole in, but we would pick the best spot and try to give you the best service we can.
Okay, very good. So they can run over to Elektrafi.com. They can
Correct.
check out whether or not they're inside your current location. And you said you're actually expanding. You said,
Yeah, we're expanding. We just opened up Silsbee. We're expanding to Kuntz, Lumberton, North Vidor, and Mauriceville.
okay. So if they want to know, then they can go there. They can check that out and then go, move on from there to try to figure out what kind of deal they're looking for, right? So I think we were actually looking at some of the deals that you guys currently have for your current providers. What's kind of your top end? Like say if there's a business out here, because you guys, this has nothing to do with mobile phone service.
Correct.
This has everything to do with home and office.
Yes.
And so if an office is out there and they're sitting here going, okay, well, Elektrafi is local, and we want to support local. What's the what would they potentially be looking at?
So we talked to them about their use case, and so if it sounds like it's a lower use case, then they can of course go with the lower end packages, which start at about $60 a month.
Okay.
If it sounds like they're going to be doing a lot of live streaming, and there's let's say 10 or 12 people in the office or something like that, then they might want to go with one of our higher packages.
Gotcha. But it starts at $60 a month, and you work from there.
Correct.
Kind of find out what the need is then.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what. What is the big differentiator between Elektrafi and some of the other carriers out here?
When you need help, we're somebody from your community or a nearby community. You're not talking to somebody on a different continent that is English as a second language.
Right.
And so you're talking to local people. Some of them are your neighbors. Some of them you may know. And
Okay.
so we're very connected to the community.
So the communities that you currently have service in, you're going to have access to somebody who's going to be able to help you if you get in a bind.
Yeah, and we're hiring on purpose. We're trying to hire from each community that we go into for our installers.
I actually noticed that just a couple of days ago that you guys had a big ad out. What exactly are you looking for?
We're looking for people that don't mind light outside labor. It's cable, handling cable, running cable, doing some very. It's not very heavy duty work to attach an antenna. The antennas are pretty lightweight. That's what goes on the outside of the house.
Okay.
Try to make sure the installers can make $150 to $200 a day. Depends on how hard they want to work and how fast they are. The faster and harder they work, the more money they can make.
That's a good deal. And so you guys are expanding, so that'll be, obviously you're going to be needing employees in all those locations. And
That's correct.
And then, at some point you guys will be moving north as well.
Yes, we've got some funding opportunities with the USDA Reconnect program, which if they award it or when they award it and we get access to it, we can expand to throughout Jasper, Newton counties, parts of Hardin, Tyler County, and on northward towards Nacogdoches.
Very cool. Anything you want to put out there?
We're also, if you have people in Colorado, we're currently deploying 2 regions in Colorado as well.
2 regions in Colorado. So now tell me a little bit about how this thing came together, because just from a design and putting the whole idea together. I mean, how did that come to be?
Well, I had been thinking about it since at least 2012, and the Ryan Jenkins and others that and his company have been looking at it really hard since 2017, and for some reason everything just seemed to come together in 2020. The right people, the right place, and the right opportunities.
Very cool. Very cool. Sounds good. Mr. Hartgrove, we appreciate you taking time with us today for this business profile. And if you're out there and you are looking for internet access and you want somebody local and you want a product that's local, hey, Elektrafi is your place of choice. Check them out at elektrafi.com or give them a call right here at the office. What's a good number?
409-216-0888.
0888. Give them a call. Get yours today. We're sitting here with Lonnie King. He is one of the tech support people here at Elektrafi. Lonnie, I appreciate you sitting down with us, man, just kind of chatting a little bit about some tech support stuff. So tell us how the tech support process works here, because you know as well as I do, if you have a cell phone or any other kind of situation, a lot of times you'll call somewhere and then you get forwarded somewhere else.
Right.
And so how does that work here with you guys at Elektrafi?
Well, one of the cool things about here is that whenever you call someone here, or when you call into our number, you actually get a person who works here, somebody who is from here, and that speaks the same language that you do, in the same way that you speak it. So
right.
You're going to get somebody that, you know, if they say a street name or whatever, they might use the colloquial name. Instead of saying 2933 or 2993, they might say Calle Loop.
Right.
As one of the locals would say.
Okay.
So you're not getting someone who is in Bangladesh looking at Google Maps saying, "Oh yeah, I know exactly where you are."
Yeah.
You'll get somebody that's from here. You might even get somebody that says, "Thank y'all for calling us." And use some actual Texas language.
Texas dialect. No, I get it. So another thing is what kind of time frame, like what's the tech support schedule during the week?
Okay, so our schedule is 8 to 7, Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
So we do have longer hours than what you might normally expect from, especially from a startup company that's just a small handful of people. I think there's like 9 of us here in this location.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't really expect us to be here those amount of hours, but we are. And as far as time frames on, like if you call in,
right,
usually you'll speak to either myself or by the other tech support guy that's here. Occasionally, if we're on the phone, you'll get filtered in through the receptionist or somebody else. Somebody here will pick up that phone, and then your turnaround time on that is usually hour or two, not days or two.
Right.
Like you might get it with a call center or something.
I got
like
you.
that.
So, Lonnie, one of the bigger things, one of the bigger issues, because a lot of people remember the old small dishes. They remember the big dish, the little dish, and this type of thing.
Right.
And one of the issues that always comes into that type of a system is the clouds and weather and all that stuff. When you're actually potentially needing access to information and stuff, your system goes down due to cloud coverage. And so how is Elektrafi a better situation?
Okay, so the way that our internet works is that we are tower based.
Okay.
It's all on the ground. There's nothing floating around in space. So we don't actually have to shoot through clouds. So if there's heavy cloud coverage, it's raining, the wind's blowing, 90% of the time that doesn't affect anything. Of course, if you have strong enough winds that knocks a tree down or limb comes through and hits something, that obviously wouldn't be the same thing. But generally speaking,
hurricane or something along those
outside
lines.
of those lines,
sure.
If you're having bad weather, you're still going to be able to connect. You'll be able to get on the Weather Channel and find out what's going on in your area, or connect back to some type of local news source,
Gotcha.
KJAS or wherever they got it, and just try to say, oh, okay, I now know what's going on in my area.
Yeah.
But you won't just be cut off because it started raining today.
Gotcha. So I think the term is planet-based.
Planet-based.
Yeah, you're planet-based.
Right.
That's very cool.
We're planet-based instead of space-based.
There you go. And people don't want to get back in the same problems they've always had. You know what I'm saying? And that's been one of the biggest problems is connectivity kind of sucks, to be honest with you, whenever you're having to shoot through clouds a lot of times, because this is East Texas where you don't know when it's going to rain. So
Well, that's one of the things about being, rural like that.
Yeah.
You're really limited on your choices. And I had satellite internet too for quite a while. Was definitely not a fan.
Right.
Unfortunately, I live in Kirbyville, so we don't yet service my area either. So I'm using like mobile hotspots and stuff. And that's another thing that I can speak to for this. The speed that I get off of my mobile hotspot through Verizon or wherever. I also use another company called Rural 4G. The speeds that I get off of that are not even in the same category as the speeds that we offer here.
Really?
Through our things. So if I do a speed test on my system, depending on the day, I get anywhere from 3 to like 15.
Okay.
Our packages here start at 25.
Okay.
And then they move up from there. We have a 35 and a 50. And then if you're in like Silsbee or one of the new areas that we're going through, those packages start at 50, go to 100, and then 200.
Wow.
So
you got a lot of speed coming.
There's a lot more going on in those areas than what you can expect, even if you go with Verizon, because I do have a Verizon hotspot.
Sure.
Or if you go with AT&T, I have that, and I also have the knockoff brand. The other one.
Very cool.
It's very different.
Gotcha.
And another reason why they're so much different from us is they basically buy bandwidth from another company. So they'll buy it from AT&T or Verizon or one of the big companies, and they'll resell that.
Okay.
So the speed that they're getting is going to be based heavily on whatever speed you would get from your phone.
Gotcha.
The way our stuff works is we put our own antennas on the towers. So we determine, based off of what antennas we put up there, what we're capable of delivering to someone. So we're not relying on something else.
So you're not having to run on someone else's towers or cables and that type of thing.
Right.
And so you kind of dictate what. Yeah, because in a lot of ways, I don't know why I never really process this. I mean, obviously this is not my industry, but when you start thinking about like T-Mobile and some of these other groups, you're sitting here going, okay, well, T-Mobile's got their own thing out here. They're putting up their own, but that's not the case normally.
Usually not.
They're
Usually the
buying,
towers are owned by someone else.
Sure.
American or Crown
Right.
or whoever.
Yeah.
And they just rent spaces on that.
I got you.
They're like, you get the 300 foot, you get the 330 foot, you get the
So you
everybody
guys
gets their
have
spot.
all your own towers,
Right.
and you guys provide all your own planet-based access.
Right.
And then with the local tech support and the local help, man. I mean, I don't see how you lose with that. To be honest with you, I think it's a great.
That's what we're
great
banking
product.
on. It seems like a win-win all around to me.
Absolutely.
And the thing with us being, with our own systems on each thing, we have to pretty much determine ahead of time where we're going to be at.
Right.
And in doing that, it also allows us to pick up people that are from that same area.
Gotcha.
And so
Very
when
cool.
you call somebody and say, hey, I want to talk to somebody about my internet, it went out yesterday, or, it went out this morning, you're going to get somebody that's from that area, because we get to pick and choose.
Very cool. Very cool. So even your tech support people are local.
Right.
Or your field agent, your field tech people. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, everybody.
So from our installers to our inside people that work here, office personnel, everybody that you speak to is going to be from one of the communities around this area.
Very cool.
That we're serving.
Very good. Lonnie, I appreciate you taking time with us to sit down and kind of fill us in on how you guys are better than everybody else.
Yes, sir.
Thank
I
you, man.
appreciate you having us.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
We're sitting here with Miss Tricia Jagno. She is, actually tell us, what is your position
Okay, well,
here with Elektrafi?
I started with Elektrafi in September of 2020.
Okay.
And I started as customer service, receptionist, answering the phones. Moved up to more into customer service as we grew and positions started to divert into, we were able to say, okay, well, this is your position and this is your position, instead of all of us working together.
Right.
Then I moved into that role. then now I'm assistant general manager, working up to general manager.
Okay. Okay. So tell us, if you were just going to give everybody the 30,000 foot view of Elektrafi, what makes you guys better and different?
Well, just from I'm going to start with the specific part of it, is we're not satellite. That makes a big difference.
Okay.
People think we're satellite and that weather affects us. It doesn't, which is a big deal for people around here. You know, when
Sure.
they have dish of any sort. And I just tell people that, you know, we're different because if we're on the tower, we're tower-based, line of sight.
Right.
And we're not affected by weather because it's not having to go to space and come back. You know, it's not going through the rain clouds, you know.
Sure.
It's the simple fact, you know.
Right.
It's not, your signal's not getting warped in any way.
Gotcha.
And also the rate of return back and forth is higher. Your ping
Gotcha.
is higher.
Gotcha. So tell us specifically about like your pricing, and you know, obviously we talked a little bit with Mr. Hargrove about it starting around $60 a month,
Correct.
and based on kind of what the need is, you kind of go from there. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so in Buna, we have 3 different packages.
Okay.
We have our Flash 25, and that's 25 megabits per second down and 3 up, and it is our lowest. It starts with $59.95
Okay.
a month. Then we have our Spark 35, which is 35 megabits per second down and 5 up, and that is our $79.95. And then our lastly in Buna is our Bolt 50, which is 50 megabits per second down and 10 up at $89.95.
Okay.
Now that's tax included. There are no extra fees. There's no installation fee. There are no contracts. That's out the door. That's you don't have to buy any equipment. We come with all the equipment.
Wow.
It's your per month rate. That, you know,
That's it.
when you get your bill, that's it.
That's it.
That's it per month. Yeah.
That is completely unusual.
Isn't it? Yeah. And people are always like, wait.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
What about
Where's
my fees?
Right.
The surcharges, and what about my fuel surcharge? And
Right,
yeah.
right. There are no hidden fees, nothing.
None of that.
No, you just get your bill. It just says, you know, service for the month and $59.95.
Very cool. Now I know there are some gamers out there who would be interested to know how their gaming process would be through Elektrafi. So, what's kind of your take on that?
Okay, so with gaming, all of our packages are good for gaming.
Okay.
What happens is it just depends on how many people are using the internet at the same time.
Gotcha.
So let's say that you have a teenager that's in there gaming, or adults. We have a lot of adults and teenagers both that game.
Sure.
That game. It's a big thing. So if you are in there all gaming, and then maybe a couple of people are trying to stream TV, you might have some issues there.
Right.
You might be in the middle of trying to shoot somebody, and
Right.
you don't know if you got them or not.
All right.
So when you're gaming, we recommend that you do it, you know, in a time when there's really not anybody else using the internet is the best way to do it. Now,
Right.
it doesn't mean you can't do it the other way.
Right.
It just depends on your plan
Sure.
and which package you have.
Gotcha.
But you know, a lot of gamers,
A lot of
and
people gaming
People are
Elektrafi.
happy about it. And again, that satellite issue comes into play because the ping, you don't have the lag time. So the lag time that a lot of gamers experience.
I think that is probably the biggest selling point for a gamer. Is no lag time.
Right.
My sons will be playing Fortnite or whatever they're playing, and you know, every once in a while you'll hear them. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm lagging so bad!"
Right.
And then it stops. The lag stops, and they're dead. So, or whatever the case is.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
Whatever game they're playing. So with you guys, you don't have that lag time.
It does, yeah, it does help that we're not satellite in that regard. I'm not saying you're never going to have it. You know, things
Right.
buffer. We are rural.
Sure.
And it is a big deal to get rural internet. It is
Yeah,
a big
no
deal
doubt.
to provide rural internet.
No doubt.
There's so many different factors that, you know, I had no idea until I started here that,
Okay.
that happened. But we try our best, and we a lot of our gamers are happy.
Yeah.
And if they're not, we definitely look into the issue and see if it's something we can correct. I'd say
That's awesome.
we're happy. They're happy. Yeah,
That's good.
they're happy.
I one of the things that's impressive to me is the local product, local service, local tech support.
Right.
And so, kind of expound on that from your vantage point.
Okay, so we kind of pride ourselves that, we had so many different comments of, you answer the phone, you're like you're a real person. Like, yes, we are.
Sure.
And then you can talk to a technician fairly, that day for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be that minute
Right.
if they're on another line, but if they're not, you're talking to them immediately.
Yeah.
If you're having a problem, if your service is out for some reason, it's our priority.
Okay.
Our number one priority is any of our customers that are out of service for some reason, whether it be somebody hit the wrong button, it got unplugged, there was a surge and they don't know how to get it back started.
Sure.
Then we're out there that day.
Gotcha.
It makes a big difference. It's not like you're waiting a month for a technician to come out.
Exactly.
We really pride ourselves on being there next day or at least within the week. We're not going to let you go without. Those are our priority customers, and service customers as well. We try to get that day. We are, as far as packaging, when you go to, you want to install internet, you want to get our package, we come out there, we can do a consult, make sure the signal is strong enough for what you want. Then we decide, okay, yes or no for install. Yes, install. Then we can get you probably that next day.
Okay.
Get you installed, set up, and you're on your way.
Wow. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah. We try.
That's very cool. Very cool. Is there anything you want the people around the area to know that you guys are actually, obviously, you're in Elektrafi is in the process of expanding.
We are.
And so, having said that, obviously, for people who haven't heard of Elektrafi, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to do the research.
Mm-hmm.
Research us, ask people about us, call us. We are honest about where we are in processes. We are honest about when we have an outage, we're letting you know, we're sending out messages, and ask around, because when we say who we are, that's who we are.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it.
Sure.
And as we go into these other service areas, we're running into the same issues that a lot of people are having with hiring people.
Okay.
We are on a limited staff. I mean, when you're here, you see.
Yeah.
This is us.
Sure.
This is us. I mean, we have 3 installers and a manager. We have 2 technicians, and we have the 3 of us here in the office.
Okay.
And that's it. And we're running this, and we are really truly in it for the people, and we believe in this. We believe in the need for it, and we believe in providing this as a service. And it's just part of us. It's a pride thing. It's like we can provide this for our community. We're involved a lot in the communities that we go into.
Right.
We do a lot of community service. We started in Silsbee doing their movie night. We
Yeah.
go out and serve popcorn. We are looking in Vida right now to I think we're maybe in their homecoming parade in Vida.
Okay. So you're kind of digging into the areas, digging into the
We
towns
are,
and cities.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, living in Buna, I live in Buna, but it's not like I'm kind of in my little bubble,
Sure.
so it's not like I know a lot about, say, Vida or Lumberton.
Yeah.
So we're getting in there. We're getting in there to know the people.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, there you have it. Ms. Tricia, I appreciate you taking time with us and talking to us a little bit about what you guys are doing. Any last things that you want to throw out there to the people? Go to Elektrafi.com.
Yeah, that's right. You go to Elektrafi.com to sign up. Follow the sign me up prompts. You can text us at 409-216-0989. If you have any questions and you just, get on out real quick, ask us. We'll respond that day.
That's
and
cool.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
very cool.
yeah.
Nobody has a text messaging. Well, as far as I know, I don't think I have a text messaging access to Verizon or anybody like that.
Probably not.
Those guys aren't giving no
No, no,
they're not
no.
giving no telephone numbers out. So.
No.
But
you can get us.
yeah, good
Yeah.
deal. Good
Yeah.
deal. Well, we appreciate you taking time to sit down with us and kind of talk to us about what all's going on. Elektrafi.com. Elektrafi.com is the place to go and check out. And once again, give us that number here if they want to call and ask questions here at the office.
Okay, it's 409-216-0888.
0888 is the number. Give them a call. That is Elektrafi at elektrafi.com. You can check them out in Buena. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to, once again, a business profile with Not on the Payroll at notonthepayroll.com. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. And you can also check us out each and every Thursday night, 7 o'clock at KJS 107.3 FM.